Hello, and welcome to me talking about Season 4 of the Pokémon Tower Draft League. I am the Fat Cat, coach of the Zippy Zaps, who you can see down in the bottom right here. I'm here talking today about the team I've drafted for this Pokemon tournament. This season I am participating in the National Dex draft in the Lugia division, which is new. The National Dex draft is a new format that they've added just this season, which is pretty cool, and I am very happy to have been chosen to participate in it. I am very much looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm going to go into explaining my team, why I picked them, how well they synergize together and stuff like that. I'm afraid I'm not the best at explaining things, so I apologize if what I say doesn't make sense sometimes, but I will do my best. So, the first Pokemon I drafted was Latios. Now, I knew I wanted to draft a strong dragon type this time around because I usually don't. I don't usually draft like the higher pointer Pokemon, like the highest points. But this time I decided, screw it, let's go for Latios, because Latios was one of the highest scoring Pokemon on this draft pointer. You can see it is right here, 19 points, which is the maximum number of points a Pokemon could be. I wanted to use it as well because I have used Latias in the past and I thought it was good fun. Anyway, yeah, Latios is a very fast and a very strong special attacker, especially with all the buffs it got in the Indigo Disc DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They buffed its signature move Luster Purge, which is stronger now. I believe it went from 80 base power to 95 base power, and it can still lower the target special defense by 1, which is very good on such an offensive Pokemon. As you can see here, it's got 130 special attack, which is very strong. It's got a good ability, it's very strong, it's got an incredibly diverse moveset like Energy Ball, Draco Meteor, Surf, Mystical Fire, all sorts. It's just really good. And in the new DLC, it got Flip Turn, and I think the fact that it got access to a move that lets it switch out on such an offensive Pokemon is really good, especially since its attack isn't even that bad. Like 90 base power, it's like, 90 base 90 attack is pretty good, honestly. If you're not using it really, even if you're not using it, why not have the extra damage in your switch up move? It's really nice actually. Yeah, and not only is it strong, it can also be decently defensive as well. It gets Roost, it gets, what was the other move I was going to talk about? Roost, Flip Turn obviously. It gets Light Screen and Reflect, it gets Recover and Roost. I said Roost already, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I could run Calm Mind on it, I could run Calm Mind and Sword Power if I wanted to. I could run Dragon Dance if I want to be a bit cheeky. If I want to suppress my opponents, I could run Dragon Dance instead of use its weaker physical attack instead of a stronger special attack if I want to be funny. Or Defog, that's it, yeah, Defog was another cool move. So yeah, having Hazard Move is always nice. And this is actually the first third of a Dragon Steel Fairy Core that I decided to draft for this season, because I've never used a Dragon Steel Fairy Core and I thought it would be fun too. Speaking of, I'm going to move on to my next team member, which is a Steel type, Mega Scizor. So we do actually have Mega Evolution in this, because this is National Dex. So Mega Evolutions are available, and I saw Mega Scizor, and after I drafted Latios, I knew I needed something that could synergize well with it, and Mega Scizor is obviously perfect for it. It is only weak to fire, and Latios resists that, and so they're already pretty good. On the flip side from Latios, Mega Scizor is a good physical attacker, while Latios is a good special attacker, so I have the strong physical attacker and the strong special attacker. Like, just look at this, 150 base attack, like that's amazing, with Technician as well, to boost its weaker moves. Like, it's really good, it's really cool. And also base defenses are incredible as well, like 140 base defense, 110 base special defense, great. Yeah, like I said, it gets Technician, so it can boost its weaker moves like Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, stuff like that. Especially Bullet Punch having priority, so it'll always move first, most of the time, not all the time, but you know what I mean. And that's boosted by Technician, so it's even stronger. It gets a U-turn, so it can pivot. So I can just switch out after attacking. It has Roost and Defog if it wants to be slightly more defensive, which is really cool. And like I said, this is part of the Dragon Steel Fairy Core that I decided to run this season. And yeah, it's a really cool Pokemon. It can also get Aerial Ace, gets boosted obviously. It gets Close Combat, it gets Curse, which could be fun. Sword Stance, Knockoff. I forgot it gets Knockoff actually, that's really nice actually. Yeah. I spoke about Usain. Oh, and Trailblaze too, which is massive for it. I think Mega Scizor with Trailblaze and Technician's going to be amazing. Like, I'm going to have to do some stuff with that, because that's awesome. But anyway, for the third team member, I decided to round off the Dragon Steel Fairy Core with Clefable. Now, Clefable's not really a Pokemon I like at all. It's very annoying to play, it's very annoying to fight against. I'm not a huge fan of its design at all, but I thought I'd give it a try, you know, I thought I would give it a chance, so I decided to draft it this time around. To complete the Steel Dragon Fairy Core and see how it does. So I have, it's fairy type obviously, it's defensive, so it's good rounding off this trio of Clefairy, sorry. It's good to round off this trio of defensive Pokemon that can also be pretty offensive as well. It's pretty great. There's a lot of things you can do with this. You can run Magic Guard on it, so only gets damaged by direct attacks, like Stealth Rock and Toxic and stuff won't do any damage to it, which is great. You can also run Unaware if things start to set up on me, I can just run that, and it's not going to be as effective anymore. It gets so many moves, man. It gets Calm Mind and Stored Power. Stored Power? It does get Stored Power, so I could run Calm Mind, Stored Power, get Stealth Rock, Soft Bell to heal itself, Toxic, Thunder Wave, Wish, Trick. Like, it's Light Screen and Reflect too, I think. Yeah, Light Screen and Reflect, gets Knockoff. And then so many coverage moves, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Grass Knot, Psychic, Thunderbolt, like, it's all so much, it's so cool, it can do so many things. It can actually be kind of difficult to prepare for it in that, if you don't know if it's going to be offensive or defensive. Yeah, I think it is really cool what it can do. I'll just have to see if I can utilize it well enough. And now we're going to move on from the Dragon Steel Fairy Core, and we're going to move on to my first Terra Captain, Hisuian Arcanine. So in this Burned Tower we have, we get a choice from, I think it was 2 to 3 Terra Captains we get to, yeah, it's 2 to 3 Terra Captains we get to pick. And each Terra Captain gets one stab Gets one Stab Terra type and 2 Wildcard Terra types. And Hisuian Arcanine was actually only just cheap enough for me to be allowed to for it to terrestrialize. Oops, sorry. Yeah, okay. And so yeah, it was 11 points and under Pokemon get to terrestrialize with some exceptions like Shedinja and stuff, right? Because Shedinja terrestrialization would just be broken, right? So Arcanine was actually allowed to Terra, which I'm very surprised to see. The second I saw that, I instantly knew that after I got my Dragon Steel Fairy Core, I would have to grab this, and I was lucky to grab it. It's very, very cool. My Terra types for it are Fire, Fighting, and Grass. Fighting gives it good offensive coverage, and Grass is better defensive coverage. I think it's really cool. I've seen Terra Fighting been used incredibly effectively before. It's like this thing with Choice Band and Terra Fighting with a Fire and Rock move is just devastating. It's amazing. And Terra Grass obviously to eliminate Water types, Rock types, Ground types. It's gonna be great. And yeah, this is a very strong physical attacker. It's fairly fast. It gets a bunch of coverage moves. It gets Close Combat, like I said, Vista, and we have the Terra Fighting to obviously boost Close Combat. It gets Head Smash, which is really, really good, especially seeing as it gets the ability Rock Head, so it doesn't take recoil damage, so Flare Blitz and Head Smash are suddenly really good moves. It gets Outrage if I want to be funny, Psychic Fang, which is nice. I could even use a slightly defensive set with Will-O-Wisp and Stealth Rock Entity, that would be funny. It gets Wild Charge, and another big thing is it gets Extreme Speed, which with Choice Band can be very, very strong. I almost ran, because this is a priority move, right? I almost ran with Terra Normal on this to get the extra boost on Extreme Speed, but I decided against it because I wanted Terra Fighting over Terra Normal. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. I just wanted this is an absolute powerhouse, and I think it's a complete steal to be able to terrestrialize with this thing. It definitely shouldn't be allowed to Terra, I think. But yeah, I'm hoping I'll get to use this effectively because I think it can do a lot of really cool stuff, especially with terrestrialization, like I said. Okay, and next Pokemon I drafted was Skarmory. Now, Skarmory, I do think this is less cool than Corviknight, purely because it doesn't get... I'm looking at Corviknight, sorry. I do think this is slightly less cool Corviknight because it doesn't get a way to pivot out with like U-turn or flip turn or anything like that, and that is a shame. But it does replace that with Spikes and Stealth Rock, which Corviknight can't do. Like Corviknight does get U-turn, sure, that's really cool. But it doesn't get Spikes, or it can't set up on you. It can't set up Hazard on you, but the Sync can Hazard Stack, which is really cool. And obviously, pretty much, other than that, they both do very similar things. Skarmory is far more physically bulky, as you can see. It's got 140 base defense, this only has 105. It's still pretty good, but you know. And the HP kind of runs, whatever. But yeah, Skarmory, yeah, it gets some cool moves too. It gets counter, it gets defog to remove hazards, it gets I said counter, yeah. It gets what was the name? Roost, so it can do that stuff up. It's a good defensive Pokemon. I also really like Steel Flying type. Skarmory is really cool. It gets Whirlwind, which is nice. It's a fun move, Toxic, Taunt, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And it's also a good backup Steel type if I decide I don't want to bring Mega Scizor for whatever reason. Or I can just bring Mega Scizor and Skarmory, you know, it's nice, it's a nice extra Steel type. And yeah, like I said, the only problem I have with it is it doesn't get U-turn. If it got that, then I would like it a lot more, and it's still pretty cool. But yeah, I just wish I had U-turn. But anyway, moving on, we have Grimmsnarl as my 6th team member. Grimmsnarl is kind of like also my backup to Clefairy, Clefable. If I decide I don't want to bring Clefable, I can bring Grimmsnarl instead, or again, I can just bring both of them. Because this is also a really good support Pokemon. It gets Light Screen, it gets Reflect, to help my offensive Pokemon like Arcanine and Latios and Mega Scizor, even like Calm Mind Clefable or something like that. It gets Thunder Wave and Parting Shot, which can cripple the opposing monster, paralyze them, or lower their stats. It gets Taunt to prevent setup sweepers or things trying to set up hazards as well. Hazards or trying to set up with Swords Dance or Nasty Plot or whatever. I can stop that. And because it has Prankster, that'll always be first, which is really cool. And of course, it's another fairy type, like I said. I guess Taunt, I guess Sucker Punch if I want to get off an attack. So it's got good attack as well. I can run a bunch of good. If I really wanted to, I could run some nice physical attacking moves, and I could do some good damage, especially with Sucker Punch. It's another just form of priority that I really like. And Trick as well, so I can like, if I want to cripple a Pokemon further, I could Trick it, an item that would be useless for it usually. So I could Trick like a physical attack or Choice Specs, and then they're locked into a move and they're not going to benefit from the Choice Specs. But yeah, I could do something like that. Yeah, Grimmsnarl's really cool, and I'm hoping I get to use it. I'm hoping to get good use of it. I'm hoping to get good use of it out of it this season. Okay. Now the next Pokemon I decided to draft is a cool one, Runerigus. Runerigus is one of my Runerigus is one of my favorite Generation 8 Pokemon. I think it's awesome, even though the evolution method for it is very silly. I think it's very, very cool. And I'm glad I get to use it here, because it's a Ghost type, Ghost Ground type. I love my Ghost Ground types. I love Golurk, and I love Runerigus. Ghost Ground types are cool. But anyway, this thing's also pretty useful for my team. It's a Ghost type, so I can block Pokemon trying to use Rapid Spin or Close Combat or whatever on me. It's got Wandering Spirit, so I can steal. I'm hoping to steal like Intimidate or something. If something tries to make contact with me, I can take their Intimidate ability and use it back on them. I think that'll be pretty cool. Even though this won't stick around for long, it'll be cool. It's a pretty good physical wall. I'm realizing now I have quite a few physical walls, but that's fine. It's got a good variety of moves too. It gets Earthquake, it gets Poltergeist and Shadow Claw, it gets Taunt, Toxic, Trick, Will-O-Wisp. Actually, it doesn't get Toxic. Sorry, I guess Toxic Spikes. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, Toxic Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, Trick, Taunt. I doubt I'll ever get off a Taunt on this, and it'd be too useful because it's only got 30 speed. But like, yeah, whatever. could still be useful on something. Destiny Bomb, Disable, Curse. If I wanted to be really funny, I could run I could run Calm Mind and Nasty Plot, because that actually gets a good number of special moves, including Dark Pulse, which is really strange, but I think it's funny. I doubt I'll ever use a special attack set on this because it's only got 50 special attack, but it would be funny. It would be funny if I did that. Probably not going to, but you know, you never know. And of course, Rest and Sleep Talk is nice as well. Excuse me. So that is Runerigus for you. Oh, Stealth Rock, I forgot to mention that maybe. I don't remember at this point. But yeah, Runerigus, really cool. Hope to get good use out of this. And next I drafted Arboliva. Another bulky supporter Pokemon. It can set grassy terrain with its ability. I looked at the wrong thing. Arboliva has Seep Soar, so if it's hit by an attack, any attack, grassy terrain starts, and that heals both Pokemon on the field at the end of each turn for a little bit of health, and it also reduces the damage of ground type moves. And it has some other effects as well. And it's got a nice hidden ability too, Harvest. I think it's really cool. It gets a bunch of nice moves. It gets Giga Drain, Earth Power, Dazzling Gleam, Encore. It can even set up screens with Ice Screen and Reflect. Strength Sap to heal it up. It gets Synthesis to heal it up to Weather Wall if I want to run some cheeky weather strats. Stuff like that. That's pretty much all it does. I also did draft it because it's a normal type and a grass type, and I wanted both those typings. It just fit in quite well with the team. So I'm hoping to get good use out of this as well. I think it will be really cool. I've never actually used Arboliva before, so hoping to see it do well here. And my 9th Pokemon, we're getting into the good stuff now, the spicy stuff I would say. My second Terra Captain, Toxicroak, with the ability to terrestrialize into a fighting, dark, or ground type. Now, I really like this Pokemon. I love Toxicroak. And being able to terrestrialize it here I think is really cool. It's not going to be game breaking or anything, but it can do some cool stuff. First of all, it gets good coverage moves. It gets Earthquake, it gets Ice Punch, it gets Gunk Shot. Oh wait, it's a poison type, never mind, sorry. Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, Stone Edge, Thunder Punch. It gets most of the elemental punches. It doesn't get Fire Punch, which is weird, but yeah, it doesn't get Fire Punch. It's got Thunder Punch X is there. But the thing I really like is Swords Dance and Sucker Punch. Swords Dance and Sucker Punch is something I really like, especially with Terra Dark, so I can make Sucker Punch even stronger. Unfortunately, it's not the strongest or fastest Pokemon, so if I can't, I don't think it's going to be able to, it's not going to be amazing, but I think with Terra Dark and Sucker Punch, it certainly has potential. And it gets Bulk Up and Drain Punch too, which is cool. Encore if I want to be funny. Knockoff too, I did never notice that, it gets Knockoff, that's really nice. Yeah, and again, it gets Nasty Plot. If I want to be silly, I can run a Nasty Plot set on it, but I don't actually know what special moves it gets. So, probably not. But you never know, you never know. If it fits, maybe I'll do it. Maybe. But yeah, and of course the Terra Ground to boost Earthquake, if I feel like it. And this next team member is one of the ones that I thought was pretty underpriced and very good for its value, Walrein. This Pokemon was only cost me 2 points, which I thought was very strange considering its stats are pretty good for a defensive Pokemon. Being a defensive water type is always good, and with stats like these it's not bad. It's even got decent special attack. I think this thing's gonna be pretty cool to use. It doesn't get a bunch of good moves, but it gets some fun stuff. It gets Super Fang, it gets Toxic, it gets Yawn. That could be funny and do Swords Dance, Liquidation, Rock Slide, stuff like that. That could be funny. Earthquake as well. Encore, I don't know if I mentioned that, I don't think I did, but yeah. Anyway, Encore could be funny on this thing. The main reason I decided to make this, oh yeah, this is my third Terra Captain, I forgot to mention. I can translate into a Water, Steel, and Dragon type, and I think the Steel and Dragon type Terra types work very well because they, with the Thick Fat ability, it takes less damage from fire and ice moves, which means that when I Terra into a Steel type, I'll take less damage from the fire types it's normally weak to, and if I terrestrialize into a Dragon type, I'll take less damage from the ice moves that it'll be weak to. Which I think is pretty nice. Having this being a 2-pointer and being able to terrestrialize with its stats and its ability, I think this is going to be pretty effective as a bulky Pokemon. And of course, having Superfang, it doesn't matter what my stats are, I can always take them half your health, which is really cool. And I have Steel Roller. If someone's bringing like electric terrain, like Tapu Koko or Rillaboom to a game, I can bring Steel Roller, and I can just ruin their day with that. Yep, that's Walrein. This is a Pokemon I'm hoping that will get good use out of, and I imagine I will, because I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I look forward to using it a lot. And now my final member for this, team member number 11, Electabuzz. Initially this was going to be my third and final Terra Captain, but I decided on Walrein instead after taking a second look at it because I realised, oh, Thick Fat would work really well with Steel and Dragon. I want to make this my Terra Captain instead. Initially I was going to make Electabuzz Terra Flying and do some fun stuff with it, because this can actually hold in a Violite, and it's got not bad defensive stats as well. So I think this can be cool. This can be pretty good as a defensive Pokemon, especially seeing if it gets moves like Knockoff. It gets Thunder Wave, it gets Volt Switch, so I can be a pest. I can knock off your items, I can paralyze you, and then I can just switch out. And of course, it got a new move. It got Supercell Slam, which I think is really cool. It's just like electric type jump kick, which is pretty cool. It gets Toxic if I want to be funny. It even gets Teleport. So if I want to do a slow switch out instead of a fast switch out like Volt Switch, I can just click Teleport instead. And of course, it also gets Taunt. It gets Substitute. It gets Light Screen and Reflect. It gets it gets Counter. It gets Bulk Up. Bulk Up could be fun because I could use a Violet on it and Bulk Up, and then I can have a bunch of different physical moves on it. I think that could be very interesting. Like I could do Bulk Up, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, or Supercell Charge, Supercell Slam. Sorry. I could do some fun stuff with that. I think. I did doubt this got Drain Punch when I first drafted it. Seeing it now, it doesn't, which is a shame. Maybe that's just Electivire, but whatever. This is still going to be pretty cool. And this is also only 2 points, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, that is my team. That's my team. For a quick overview, Latios, Mega Scizor, Clefable, my Terra Captain, Arcanine Hisui, Skarmory, Grimmsnarl, Runerigus, Arboliva, Toxicroak as my second Terra Captain, Walrein as my third Terra Captain, and finally Electabuzz as my final team member. I think this is a really cool team. This is one of my favourite teams that I've drafted. It's different from what I normally draft, and being able to draft Terra, Terastallizing Hisui and Arcanine is really cool. I really look forward to using Arcanine, Hisui, and Toxicroak the most here. I think that also Runerigus and Walrein are going to be really cool, and I just can't wait to see what my powerhouses can do, especially when supported by all the defensive Pokemon I have. A funny thing about this team is that actually this was usually when I make my teams that I want to draft, I usually have a bunch of backups in case someone grabs a Pokemon before I do. But this time, I didn't have to do that, because I didn't get sniped a single time. All these Pokemon I have were all in my initial plan for the Pokemon I was going to get. None of these Pokemon got drafted. I was scared that Arcanine and Skarmory were going to get drafted initially, because I was drafting them fairly late, and I thought people would also have noticed Hisui and Arcanine and want to grab that, but no one grabbed it, which I think was really cool. I'm very glad that I get to use that thing, so I think it's going to be great. And of course, Pterodactyl Toxicroak's going to be awesome as well, and Walrein. Yeah, a couple of other things I wanted to mention was what was it actually? I don't remember. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about my opponents, or my fellow participants. I've looked at everyone else's teams, they all seem really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what a lot of these guys are going to be able to pull off. There are a lot of things I really like here. The Glasgow Gudras drafted Entei with Terra Normal, and that thing gets Extreme Speed, so I think this thing can be devastating. And he also drafted Gumi, so like shout out to drafting Gumi. I really respect that. Not Sligo either. Not Sligo, Gumi. Even though they cost the same number of points, he drafted Gumi. I really respect it. That's great. Yeah, a lot of other cool things too here. I like Exploud here with the Terra and Terra Normal. I think that's going to be terrifying to fight against. When I do, this person, Southern Cavern, drafted a full rain team, almost a full rain team. Looking at it, it looks absolutely terrifying, especially that Terra float soul. If I have to fight him, I'm going to be very scared. Oh yeah, the Terra Willow drafting Terra Haxorus is really scary. I look forward to seeing that in action. And it's probably my favourite thing though, the Shallows' Revenge drafted Porygon Z with Terra Stellar. I hope I get to see him use that, because I think that's going to be really cool to see in action. He also drafted some cool Pokemon, like he drafted Kartana and Articuno and Dashbun and Honchkrow. Those are some of my favourite Pokemon there. So those are like 3 of my favourite Pokemon right there. So I hope he does well. I hope he does well, and I hope I get to fight him, because I think this is going to be really cool. I actually didn't draft any like new Pokemon they added in the DLC. Like I didn't draft Gouging Fire or Iron Boulder like I told myself I was going to, because I just saw potential in the other Pokemon. Like I was going to draft Iron Boulder, but I saw Arcanine Hisui and I was like, okay, well I want to use that. And I just said I didn't. I was drafting Latios as a Psychic type as well, so I just thought it didn't really work. Even though it doesn't really matter. You know, I just wanted a cool, good team composition as well. And I've never even used Iron Boulder anyway, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And this is another thing I liked. VLB Belong drafted Ditto with Terra Stellar as well, and I think that's really interesting. I'm actually thinking about it now. Terra Stellar Ditto is going to be very fun, especially after completely copying a Pokemon, an opponent's Pokemon. I think it's going to be really awesome. Yeah, there are some people here that also I am particularly I'm particularly scared about facing. First of all, the Glasgow Goodras, led by Daniel K. Daniel K and I, we've fought a few times before in this draft league. I don't remember what our... we fought each other many times. I think it's at least 6 or 7 times now. I don't remember who's won more fights at this point. I think it's probably him, or we're tied. I don't remember, but we fought many a time before. I've stolen final games from... No, I've stolen the semi-finals game from him before. He's stolen the final games from me. I stole the final games from him before in a tournament. We have a bit of a rivalry, and he's great. He's great. I love fighting against him. I hope I get to fight him at some point again. The Vinkavine Vivillons, led by Forza FCU. I believe I fought him in Season 2 of this, and I also believe I fought him in a Little Cup tournament that we did, and he did quite well in both of those. And he's got a really cool team as well. Oh yeah, shout out to drafting Mega Pidgeot too. That's absolutely awesome. Mega Pidgeot's like really cool. I'm glad he drafted that. It's really cool. He's got some cool Terra captains too. I like Terra Altaria a lot. And finally, I want to talk about Glacier, who is the moderator for this season. And I think he's going to be really... He's also drafted a scary team. Darkrai, Tapu Fini, Curon Black, Ferrothorn, Moltres. Like, this is so many defensive powerhouses, especially like Palossand and Alomomola too. Terra Alomomola at that. Bastiodon, like he's got a lot of defensive tools, and he's got some scary offensive ones too, with like Mega Manectric and Darkrai. Mega Manectric only 4 points, by the way, that's strange, but anyway. Yeah, that was pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Just wanted to talk about my team and everyone else that's participating, and I wish everyone the very best of luck in this tournament, and I hope you all have a good time with this, as much fun as I have with it. That's pretty much it. I hope to cover each fight I do weekly as I go on, because I've been getting more into video editing, and I'm hoping that I will make a weekly video with each battle that I do, going over my team and a live recording of the battle and my commentary on it and stuff like that. I'm hoping to do that for my own battles, because that'll be good fun, I think. But yeah, that's all from me for now. Hope you guys get to see more videos in the future if I can get them done, and I will do my best to get them done. Alright, goodbye for now, and thanks for watching.